Is a financial plan worth your time and effort? A financial plan serves as your roadmap to financial security and success. It helps you set realistic goals, whether it's buying a home, saving for retirement, or starting a business. It enables you to budget effectively, manage debt, and build wealth over time. Moreover, a plan prepares you for unexpected events like job loss or medical emergencies, ensuring you have a safety net in place. Ultimately, a well-crafted financial plan empowers you to make more informed decisions, achieve your dreams, and secure your future. So what does a financial planning exercise entail, and is it worth it? We believe that every financial plan should have 5 main points: goals and intentions, investments, tax planning, risk management, and estate planning. Let's spend a few minutes going over what each one of these areas should cover. Goals and intentions. This is the section where you start to think about your short-term, intermediate term, and long-term goals. These can be anything from retirement to travel to education to a new house to weddings and everything in between. The success of every goal is dependent on 4 variables. The first variable is the cost or spending of the goal. Second is the timing or when the goal takes place. Third is how much you're saving towards that goal. And fourth is how the assets to fund that goal are allocated. One thing that we like to do as we're thinking about recommendations for the success of the goal is to rank these variables 1 to 4. 1 being the easiest variable to change, 4 being the hardest variable to change. The reason that we do this is because if you're not going to be able to meet the goals in the way that you want them, we want to make sure we're not making recommendations that are going to inadvertently cause you to not implement the plan. Think about it this way. Your advisor tells you that to reach your financial goals, you need to save, let's say, $500 more per month. But in your current cash flow situation, you don't have $500 a month more to save. Then what good is that plan? If you were to have ranked those variables from easiest to change to the hardest to change, we would have seen that savings would have been the hardest to change and therefore not made that part of our recommendations. The next area of coverage is investments. This is where we look at how each account is registered and how they're currently allocated. And are they allocated to a level that is sufficient for your risk tolerance? What we don't want is to make recommendations or for you to have investments that keep you up at night depending on how the market did that day. We also want to look at how these assets are allocated for your goals. Are long-term assets allocated maybe a little bit more aggressively than short-term assets? Are your assets working together? A lot of people feel they have a very diverse portfolio, but underlying funds and holdings show that they're holding very similar positions. We have a video on changing risk tolerance during retirement and how that impacts your long-term goals. The next area of coverage is going to be tax planning. This is a very high-level overview of your taxes on your investments. Are you invested in the most tax-efficient way you can be? An easy example of that would be if you're in a higher tax bracket. You may be able to take advantage of tax-free income in municipal bonds. This might also employ a strategy called tax loss harvesting, where at different intervals of the year we may sell positions at a loss and offset those with positions at a gain so that we can have a net capital gains tax as close to 0 as possible, while keeping your cost basis in check, so that when you do sell assets in the future, we don't have years and years of unrealized gains. The fourth area is risk management. This is where we look at life insurance and how life insurance can play into your goals, and how long-term care insurance can help meet your long-term retirement goals. We actually have another video on the different types of life and long-term care insurance and how those can play into your overall retirement plan. The final area of coverage is estate planning. This is making sure that you have the proper documents and that those documents are updated. We have a video that describes the different estate planning documents that you need. This is the section we work closely with your estate planning attorneys to make sure that the accounts and the investments that you have follow the estate plan as you have laid it out, but also making sure that if you have major life events, marriage, divorce, children, death, birth, that you have updated estate planning documents. Estate planning is also going to be where we would look at beneficiary designations, making sure that those accounts that allow for beneficiaries have both a primary and a contingent beneficiary. So how should this process go? The first part of the process is the discovery. This is where we have a 30 to 40-minute conversation on your goals, your assets, your income, and your expenses. We have discovered where you want to go and how you're going to get there. Next, we're going to design a financial plan. We're going to look at that plan and how the 4 variables discussed earlier, allocation, cost, timing, and savings, play into the success of your financial goals. Once we design the plan, we're going to deploy the plan. This is where we begin the implementation process. Look at how accounts are registered and how they're invested. Finally, and I think most important, is the deepening of the plan, knowing that this plan is going to change over time. Your goals may change, your income may change, your assets, your expenses, they all may change, and the plan has to change with them. I liken financial planning to putting in directions on my phone. Even though I know where I'm going, I'm always putting in my in-laws' address. Makes my wife a little angry sometimes because I always take the time to put it in. She tells me I know where I'm going, so why do I need the map to tell me? The reason I do it is because the map tells me if there's construction ahead, if there's a wreck, if there's police, if there's anything I need to do to alter my route. I know I'm going to get to the same end result, but the way that I get there may need changes, and that's what financial planning is. We're going to set the address today, but we know that along the way there may be changes due to construction, wrecks, or cops, and what are we going to do to make sure that the plan adjusts accordingly? And for each family, that's different. If you have any more questions or would like a financial plan for you and your family, you can email us at education@thenoblegroup.com, give us a call, or visit our website at thenoblegroup.com.